We want to add and subtract rational expressions, and here we want to perform the indicated operation and simplify. So we're looking at example C, and on the left here we see that we have two rational expressions that we want to add together. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to factor each polynomial. So that's what we're going to do for the first step. So when we get this, we'll say we'll leave the x in the numerator, and then on the left side we're going to factor this. So this is going to become x times x, and we need two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to negative 1. So that will be 4 and 3. We need it to be negative, so one of these has to be negative. So we have a negative and a positive, and then we're all set there. And then we want to add, and then we're going to leave the numerator alone. So we're going to say 5. And then we can factor a 12 out of each one of those. So then we get 12 times x minus 4. So in order to add these two together, we have to have the same thing in the denominator. So we can take a look and see what each one have in common. So this one has an x minus 4, and this one has an x minus 4. Now we can take a look and see what's missing. This one on the right here, this one has a 12. So what we have to add to the other side is we have to add a 12 to the denominator. And the way that we do that is we multiply by 12 over 12, because that is the value of 1. And then on the left side here, we have an x plus 3 that we are missing over here. So we have to multiply by x plus 3 divided by x plus 3. And then that will give us our common denominator. So we can go ahead and do this math, and then we get 12 times x plus 3 times x minus 4, all divided by, or over 12x. And then we have 5x plus 15. Then we have 12 times x plus 3 times x minus 4. So then we have a common denominator. What we can do next is we can add our numerators together. And what we get is 12x plus 5x is 17x plus 15. And our denominator is going to stay the same. 12 times x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 4. Then we take a look at example D. In here, again, we have two rational expressions that we want to add together with different denominators. And so what we want to do is see what we're missing and what we have to add in order to add these two together. So again, the first step that we need to do is factor each polynomial completely. So we can have, we're going to leave the x plus 1 alone in the numerator. And then in the denominator, we got to factor this. And so we get x and x. That's x squared, and two numbers that multiply together, you get 4 and add to 4. That's going to be 2 and 2, and these are both going to be positive. And then we're going to subtract this. We still have the 6 there, so the 6 is going to stay in the numerator. And we have x squared minus 4, so that's difference of squares. So we can have x minus 2, x plus 2. So let's take a look and see what we have that's the same. So on the left side here, we have an x plus 2. On the left side over here, we also have an x, or on the right side, we also have an x plus 2. So those are already accounted for. Those are in both. We don't have to add them. Now over here on the left side, we have an additional x plus 2. On the right side, that is missing. So we're going to have to multiply the right side by x plus 2 over x plus 2. So that takes care of this. So we have x plus 2 on the left side. We have x plus 2 on the right side, but we're missing the x minus 2. So x minus 2 needs to be added to the left. And then we can go ahead and do that math. We can finally multiply this to see what we have. And so we get, and the denominator is going to stay the same. We're going to leave that as x minus 2, x plus 2, x plus 2. And in the numerator, we're going to have to distribute this. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is 1x, and x times negative 2 is negative 2x. So those combine to get negative x. And negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Still have our minus sign there. And so we can distribute the 6 into the binomial there. So we get 6x plus 12. And our denominator is the same. So we have x minus 2, x plus 2, x plus 2. Next step is we can subtract these, and we have to make sure that we distribute this negative to each part of this numerator here. So we don't have any x squared terms, so that's just going to stay x squared. And then we have a negative x minus 6x. That's going to be negative 7x. And then we have a negative 2 minus 12. So that's going to be negative 14. And then our denominator is going to be the same. And we can write this one more time because we can square this denominator, and we can get x squared minus 7x minus 14. We still have the x minus 2, and now we have the x plus 2 squared.